grid to create a pavement. Maybe you just watch and you don't have to do it for the office model, but it works like this. I have no subdivision and I only create a tiny gap here. I go UI for deselecting the opposite, Command A for getting all of them, and now before I extrude them to get proper proper objects on the floor, I can use ML again to make them go a little crazy. With the tool activated, just stroke over both, and now I could like mess them up a bit, mainly in this direction, so they are not really, you can see they are not really lying straight. Like I can have a tiny variation here, and then I go to extrude stuff. With caps activated, I can make them 2 centimeters thick. Go to all edges and use MS again. And that way I have a pavement. Let's have a look. This is what it looks like. So you can see I overdid it with the gaps, but like the total impression is more interesting than just a regular grid. So again, how did I do it? I just put it like this time with tiny gaps using extrude inner. Then I go inverted, delete those parts, the gaps. Then I go Command A, extruded, maybe 2.5, select all the edges. Oh, excuse me, when I have all the polygons selected, I go ML and apply some variation in height. Then I extrude it. Then I select all the edges and go MS for beveling. Bevel it slightly by maybe 0.2. And I really don't like this highlighting at all because I cannot see my work. But now I can. So this is a way of doing like stuff for your garden. Also keep in mind that you are creating a lot of geometry with those kind of mass functions. But it's a neat trick anyways. Okay. Sorry for getting off topic. And we're going on with the ceiling. The ceiling so far consists of just a regular grid. I typed NG to get in wireframe mode. I use NA for just seeing it like that, and NB for a combination of both. So how can I turn this really boring polygon up there to something which looks quite lively, like this here? You can guess it's done with extruding inwards, extruding outwards, cutting it up with ML like this. Those tricks here for the ventilation is pretty much the same with the shading, with the window shades. It's just split up and then move the edges on the bottom. So the ceiling can basically be created by selecting all the polygons and extruding inwards. Two centimeters will do. And this time we should not delete the little gaps. Instead, we should just separate the gaps from the fields by using UP delete. So that way we have ceiling fields and ceiling gaps. So the gaps selected look like this, and we should extrude them downwards slightly. Looks like this then. And just an advice, architectural modeling is all about like having the right measurements. So you really should check a lot whether the measures you use are realistic. So sometimes it's just a millimeter or maybe 2 millimeters and it looks believable. And sometimes it's maybe a little bit more than 2 millimeters and it doesn't look believable anymore. So you really should check your work for that. Another thing we can do is optimizing our geometry before extruding, because if you look at this, I have a hard time now to bevel my structure because it's just beveling all of it, which is not really what I want. Although it looks interesting, I have to say, it is not what's actually going on up there. So we should go back to the state where it used to be all flat and just press UZ here. So we have a simplified version, and then when I select this simplified structure, I go UR for giving it the right orientation. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. I will see when I extrude it. Using D, and now I extrude it without creating caps. And here I use a value of 0.1. Keep in mind that the direction was wrong, so I have to UR and D it again. And this time when I, when I extrude it, it should be the right direction. But to be honest, it's not too important. I can still switch them. Like maybe 2 millimeters. And now I turn them around. UR is supposed to reverse them. Not quite sure why it's still blue, but let's ignore that for now and try to select all the edges and go MS.